Pedro is back on television, and once again he says he's ready for love. New season, same emotional baggage, more cameras, more ego, and a fresh attempt at rewriting his image in front of a national audience in the United States. Familiar faces return in the new season of 90 Day, The Single Life, and Pedro steps in with a clear goal: rebuild, rebrand, and remarry if possible. But the path already looks complicated. Enter Sophie. For 4 months, she's been talking to a man she describes as the full package. Tall, fit, funny, dark features, attentive, the checklist guy people imagine after a painful breakup. The twist? His name is Pedro. Yes, that Pedro, fresh off a very public, very messy divorce from Chantel. Years of televised arguments, family tension, accusations, and a breakup that was anything but quiet. Sophie admits she didn't do deep research. She knew he didn't have the best reputation but chose not to judge him based on reality TV. Fair in theory, risky in practice. They talked for months. Met in person 3 times. On their very first in-person date, Pedro took her to a jewelry store and bought her a $2,000 necklace. Not flowers, not coffee. Not a casual dinner, a luxury gift, immediate and expensive. Sophie says she was shocked. She calls it romantic and thoughtful. He asked her what her ideal date looked like and executed it perfectly: restaurant, vibe, gift. He followed the script flawlessly. But when gestures are oversized at the beginning, people notice. Big early investments can create emotional momentum. They can also create pressure. Whether intentional or not, it sets a tone. I'm serious. I'm committed. I'm different. Here's the contradiction. Sophie says she doesn't want to rush into anything serious. Her long-term goal is a relationship, but right now she wants to be single and figure herself out. Yet she accepts expensive gifts from a recently divorced man who openly talks about wanting a wife, a house, and children. Pedro is not dating casually. He is dating with an agenda. He says it clearly: he wants marriage again, stability, family. He's not exploring, he's planning. When Sophie travels to see him, reality shifts. The chemistry feels off. The hug is awkward. He describes it as a brother hug. She seems distant. He expected warmth and certainty. She arrives cautious and hesitant. Then comes the major complication. Sophie is still legally married. She's in the process of divorcing Rob, but it's very recent, and Rob still calls her, late at night. 2 days before she sees Pedro. More than that, she admits they hooked up after separating. There were still feelings involved. It wasn't clean. Pedro reacts strongly, not from a moral high ground, but from logic. She told him Rob was a terrible husband who made her miserable. If that's true, why answer his calls? Why sleep with him months after the separation? It's a fair question. Sophie represents a common post-breakup reality. Legally separated, emotionally unresolved, trying to move forward while still tethered to the past. Pedro, however, doesn't want to be collateral damage while she decides. No clear villain, just mismatched timing. She wants space, he wants structure. She's untangling, he's accelerating. Tension is inevitable. Meanwhile, Gino enters the picture. Gino attends a singles event with the goal of meeting women and starting fresh. Instead of presenting his best self, he immediately reveals he's still technically married, separated, but not divorced. Not exactly strong opening material. He goes further. He tells strangers that his wife cheated 5 months into their marriage and got pregnant by another man. Heavy details. First impressions matter. He knows it's probably not the best strategy. Gino remains emotionally stuck. Every conversation circles back to Jasmine. Even at the grocery store, he mentions he can now buy meat because his soon-to-be ex-wife was vegan. The past follows him everywhere. At the same time, he enjoys the attention. Women are sliding into his DMs. He loves it. One of them is Natalie, an ex he reconnected with at a previous reunion. They exchange heart emojis. Nothing official, but enough to spark possibility. Like Pedro and Sophie, Gino's storyline is about unfinished business. He wants a new relationship but hasn't fully closed the last one. Then the show shifts to a deeper emotional conflict. Kim and her son Jamal. Kim, who often speaks about authenticity, reveals a long-held secret. Jamal is not her only child. When she was young and starting her military career, she gave a son up for adoption. She didn't tell Jamal until last year. He feels betrayed not because of the adoption itself, but because of decades of silence. Trust is shaken. If you can't trust your own mother, who can you trust? Then another revelation. There was also a daughter placed for adoption. 2 children, 2 secrets. This season opens with clear themes: rushed romance, unresolved divorces, emotional leftovers, and long hidden truths. The facts are simple. Sophie is still legally married. Pedro is investing fast and dreaming bigger. Gino is dating while still emotionally tied to his ex. Kim withheld life-changing information for years. Everyone says they want love. The real question is whether they're actually ready for it.